Hello everyone, this is Dr. E and for today ay magsasagot naman tayo ng mga word problems associated sa ating mga quadratic functions. Ang true test na kung saan alam natin na may confidence na tayo sa pagsagot ng ating mga skills sa mathematics ay yung makapagsagot tayo ng mga word problems associated sa ating mga lessons. At ito ang gagawin natin ngayong araw na ito. Magsasagot tayo ng mga lessons natin or word problems involving quadratic equations. At ang challenge natin ngayon ay mai-apply natin yung ating mga skills sa pagkuha ng mga solutions ng quadratic functions, pati na rin yung pag-analyze ng ating mga equation mula sa word problems translated into algebraic equation. At yan yung gagawin natin sa unang example natin for our word problems. Kukunin natin ngayon yung area ng rectangular field. So, sabi dito sa ating word problem, the area of a rectangular field is 2,000 square meters and its perimeter is 180 meters. Now, ang kailangan natin gawin is to find the length and the width of the field, also known as the dimension of our rectangular field. So, isa-isahin natin yung mga words associated sa ating word problem na magbibigay sa atin ng ating mga clues sa pagsagot ng ating mga word problems. At ang challenge natin sa pagsagot ng mga word problems ay kung paano natin ito translate yung ating mga words into algebraic equation or expression. So, unahin natin yung unang clue at ang unang clue natin is, sabi dito, we need to find the area or yung given sa atin ay yung area of a rectangular field that is 200 square meters. So, kung i-visualize natin yan, ito yung ating rectangular field at yung area daw niya ay equal to 2,000 square meters. So ngayon na meron tayong visual ng area, i-visualize naman natin yung second part of our word problem which is yung perimeter na 180. At ang perimeter, yun yung sukat around the rectangular field. So kung kukuha kayo ng tape measure or ng meter stick, yan yung kabuuang sukat ng ating rectangular field which is 180 meters. Now, ang ating tanong dito ay kung paano natin mahahanap yung sukat or yung length or yung haba ng ating mga length at width ng ating rectangular field. So, unahin natin i-translate yung ating unang problem by identifying muna kung ano yung length ng ating rectangular field at ano yung width ng ating rectangular field. Now, notice na ang pinili kong length ay yung vertical at yung width ay yung horizontal. But in reality, it doesn't really matter kung ano yung L or width ninyo dahil sa commutative property na gagamitin natin mamaya sa formula ng area, multiplication is pwedeng magbaliktad. So, for the sake of labeling, i-identify natin, syempre, dapat may mga labels tayo. So, i-label natin si length at si width dito sa ating rectangular field. So, ngayon, ready na tayong mag-write or magsulat ng ating mga equations mula sa ating word problem. Syempre, unahin natin yung madali-dali, which is yung perimeter ng ating rectangular field. At ang perimeter ay, ang formula nito ay perimeter equals twice the length plus twice the width. So, yan yung ating formula sa pagsukat ng length around our rectangular field. At yung susunod nating clue dito ay yung area daw ng rectangular field na 2,000 square meters at alam natin ang formula ng area ay length times width. So, meron na tayong dalawang formula at mapapansin natin na meron tayong dalawang variables dito na gagamitin, yung L and W or yung length and width. Now, sa pagsagot ng mga word problems, may it be algebra, calculus, trigonometry, or geometry, mas madali kung isang variable lamang ang gagamitin natin. At ito yung susunod nating challenge. So, yung first challenge is to write out yung mga equations na meron tayo at ang clue natin dyan ay yung ating mga geometric formula for the perimeter and area. At ngayon naman na meron tayong dalawang variables which is yung length and width, ang goal naman natin is gawin silang isang variable by manipulating our formula. So umpisahan natin yung formula ng perimeter. Sabi dito ang perimeter natin ay 180. So let's have 180 equals 2L plus 2W. Now mapapansin nyo, na pwede nating i-simplify yung ating formula dahil divisible yung ating mga constants by 2. So what we can do para mas maliit yung ating formula at hindi masyado malalaki yung numbers na ginagamit natin, i-divide natin siya by 2 for both sides of the equations at ang magiging simplest form ng ating formula would be 90 equals S plus W. And from here, pwede na nating gawin yung ating strategy, which is trying to simplify our equation. So from 90 equals L plus W, what we can do is pwede natin gawing or i-isolate si L at yung ating variable na L ay gagawin nating expression. So by subtracting W on both sides, yung ating length ay may bago ng formula mula doon sa ating word problem, which is 90 minus W. So ito na ngayon ang magsisilbing formula natin for L para yung ating L is with respect to W. At gagamitin natin ito bilang isang strategy para yung sa susunod na formula, which is yung formula for the area, ay magkakaroon na lang tayo ng singular variable. So yung ating modified version ng formula ng perimeter would be L equals 90 minus W. At ang kahalagahan nito, kung mapapansin ninyo yung ating area ng length o yung area ng rectangular field, which is length times width, yung L natin, change natin yan into 90 minus W. And by doing so, we're manipulating our formula to work with our word problem. So by doing so, mapapansin ninyo na yung ating area equals length times W ay naging area equals 90 minus W times W, which is still consistent sa ating equation dahil yan yung mga information na galing sa ating word problem. So by distributing our function, so i-simplify natin yung ating formula. So meron tayo ngayong area is equal to 90 minus W times L, or I'm sorry, times W. So ang gagawin ko is i-distribute ko ito. So magkakaroon tayo ng area equals 90W minus W squared. At dahil dito, pwede na nating i-change yung value ng A, which is alam natin ang given value ng area dito sa word problem natin is 2,000. So meron tayo ngayong equation na kung saan pwede na natin gamitan ito ng ating algebra skill dahil kailangan lang natin i-equate yung ating function into zero. So what I'm going to do para magkaroon tayo ng formula na pwede nating sagutan is to subtract 90W at add W squared on this side of the equation and then minus 90W plus W squared sa other side para ma-maintain yung balance ng ating equations at magkakaroon tayo ngayon ng equation equal to 0. So ang ating new function na gagamitin ngayon would be W squared minus 90W plus 2,000 equal to 0. At ito ngayon yung ating formula with respect to our word problem na gagamitin, and we did this para magkaroon tayo ng quadratic equation na pwede nating isolve. So ngayon na na-modify na natin yung ating function mula dun sa word problem. So meron tayong 2,000 equals 90 minus W times W. By distributing W to 90 minus W, magkakaroon tayo ng W squared minus 90W plus 2,000 equal to 0 mula dun sa manipulation na ginawa natin kanina dun sa ating formula. Now, bakit natin to ginawa? Ginawa natin ito para magkaroon tayo ng quadratic function na pwede nating isolve by factoring. So, pwede siyang factoring, pwede siyang quadratic formula, pwede rin siyang completing the square kung saan kayo komportable. But since this is a factorable equation, pwede natin siyang i-factor out. At dahil alam ko yung aking multiplication table, pwedeng kong i-factor out itong equation natin na W squared minus 90W plus 2,000 equal to 0. Medyo malaki yung numbers natin. Kung ito ay maliit-liit, medyo mas mabilis ang pagpa-factor natin. At since alam na natin ang ating multiplication table, ang factor ng quadratic equation na ito. So, ang factors natin ng 2,000 na kapag in-add natin will be equal to negative 90. So, positive. And then this is negative. So, alam natin na ito ay parehas na negative. At ang ating factors dyan ay simply 50 and 40. So negative 50 times negative 40 is positive 2,000, and negative 50 minus 40 is negative 90. So yan yung ating factors, at nang ma-factor out na natin ito, makukuha na natin yung solution ng ating quadratic function, which is w equals 50 and w equals 40. So yan ngayon yung ating solution mula doon sa factored form ng ating quadratics. So again, minsan, ang pag-factor ng function ay mabilis lang gawin. Minsan, kailangan memorize natin talaga at na-master na yung ating multiplication table. Pero minsan, meron tayong technology na makakapitan. At ito yung ipapakita ko sa inyo, yung kahalagahan ng paggamit ng technology para mas maging confident tayo sa mga ginagawa natin. So, kung hindi nyo masyadong memorize ang inyong multiplication table at nahihirapan kayo mag-factor, you can simply use Desmos, w squared minus 90x plus 2,000 x squared minus 90x plus 2,000. Ito yung ating formula kanina. So pag finactor or inilagay ninyo yung inyong quadratic function sa ating graphing calculator, ay makukuha natin yung ating solutions, at ayan siya, which is 40 and 50. So from here, magkakaroon na kayo ng clue kung ano yung factors na hinahanap ninyo. So ang opposite ng solution would be the factors of our quadratic function. So meron tayo ngayon w minus 40 at w minus 50 mula dito sa solutions na nakita natin dito sa ating quadratic function. So yan yung isa sa mga pwede nyong gawin para maging confident kayo sa pagsagot ninyo ng inyong mga factors, kasi minsan mahirap isipin yung factors na hinahanap natin. So by doing so, we'll be able now to solve our function, at dahil alam na natin yung ating solutions mula sa ating quadratic function, yung ating width na hinahanap, meron tayong dalawa. Meron tayong w is equal to 50 at meron din tayong isang w is equal to 40. So, paano na ngayon yung ating functions? So, pwede natin gawin dito is magkakaroon tayo ng dalawang sets of length and width. Isa, if w or yung width ay equal to 50, ano yung magiging length ng ating variable? So, by using our formula, kung ang w natin ay 50, pwede natin gamitin yung formula ng area equals length times w. Pwede rin natin gamitin yung p equals twice the length and twice the width, or itong formula na to. Pwede natin itong gamitin. So, ang gagamitin ko dito is, let's say I want to use this. A equals length times width. A equals length times width. So, ang area natin dito is 2,000. Ang length natin dito ay hindi pa natin alam, pero alam natin na ang w ay 50 yan, is equal to 50. So, you divide both sides by 50. So, ang first set ng L or length and width natin, if the width is equal to 50, yung length natin would be 2,000 divided by 50, and 2,000 divided by 50 ay alam natin ay equal to 40. So, meron tayong 40 at meron tayong w is equal to 50. Ito yung ating first set ng ating length and width. If width is equal to 50, length is equal to 40. At mapapansin ninyo na yung w equal to 40, kung i-check natin, just for the sake of argument, kapag change natin yung ating area equals length times width, 2,000 equals length times width, and this time si w, gamitin natin siya as 40. So, to get rid of 40 by L, so divide natin siya by 40, at mapapansin ninyo, yung ating length ay magpapalit lang ng value. So, kung dinivide natin yung 2,000 by 40, ang magiging sagot niyan ay 50. So, meron tayong L is equal to 50 when W is equal to 40. So, ibig sabihin, pwede rin lang natin pagbaliktarin yung value ng width natin. So, meron tayong dalawang sets na pwede nating gamitin for the length and the width. And sabi ko nga kanina, since ang ating formula ng area or length times width ay commutative, pwede natin siyang baguhin. So, yan yung ating length and width according to kung ano yung ating gagamitin na set of W. Or pwede rin natin siyang isulat as the dimension of the rectangular field is around 50 by 40 dahil yan yung magiging sukat, pahaba, at sukat pahalang ng ating rectangular field. So, yan yung ating first word problem of the day. So, recap. Una, kailangan nating isulat yung ating equation mula doon sa ating word problem at yun yung pinaka-challenging part. At yung mga susunod na steps would be your algebra skill. So, medyo magiging madali na yan kasi kailangan nyo lang namang gawin, although mukhang masyado mabilis, is maghanap ng quadratic equation na sasagutan natin para ma-apply natin yung ating pagsagot ng solutions ng quadratic, which is factoring, quadratic formula, or completing the square. So, apply natin yan dito sa second problem natin. Dito sa second problem natin, sabi dito, the sum of two numbers is 19 and the sum of the squares of the number is 193. Now, ano daw yung dalawang numbers na hinahanap natin? So, medyo nakakalito pero iisa-isahin natin at hihimay-himayin natin yung mga word problem na yan. So, umpisahan natin dun sa unang statement, the sum of two numbers is 19. So, medyo madali yan kasi the sum of two numbers, pwede tayong A plus B is equal to 19, X plus Y is equal to 19, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to 19. Ang pinili kong variable para i-translate yung ating verbal statement into algebraic equation is x plus y is equal to 19. At yung susunod na statement, the sum of the squares of the number is 193. Medyo mahaba at minsan nakakalito. So, himay-himayin din natin itong ating second statement. So, instead of thinking of ano ba yung sum of the squares of the number, unahin muna natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng squares of the number. So, ano ba yung squares of the number? Ano ba yung number na pinili natin doon sa ating first equation, x plus y? So, sum of the squares of the numbers or yung squares of the number would be squares ng x and y. So, ang translation ko ng squares of the number is x squared and y squared. At since ngayon, medyo nagkakalinaw na yung aking second statement, tatapusin ko na yung equation or algebraic equation associated with the second statement, which is the sum of the squares of the number is 193. So, ang sum ng squares ng dalawang number natin ay x squared plus y squared equal to 193. So, meron na tayo ngayon dalawang equations na pwedeng gamitin para mahanap natin si x and y. And to do that, we can either manipulate x or yung first statement or second statement para magkaroon tayo ng single variable na equation. So, in this case, mas madali yata kung ima-manipulate natin si x plus y is equal to 19. So, what I'm going to do is either isolate x or y, but in this case, i-isolate ko si x, kaya isa-subtract ko si y on both sides, at meron tayo ngayong modified equation ng first statement from x plus y is equal to 19. Now, it's x equal to 19 minus y. And why did I do that? Dahil gusto kong i-manipulate yung aking second statement na x squared plus y squared equal to 193 para magkaroon tayo ng single variable na equation. So, alam nyo na ang gagawin natin. Tatanggalin natin si x doon sa equation at papalitan natin yan ng 19 minus y dahil yan ngayon yung magsisilbing x value natin para yung ating equation mula doon sa ating second statement ay puros y na lang. So, paano natin ngayon i-manipulate si 19 minus y squared? So, dito, 19 minus y quantity squared. Dito natin i-expand yung binomial. So, imo-multiply natin si 19 minus y times 19 minus y by itself. So, ifo-FOIL natin ito. Or pwede din naman natin siyang gawin vertically, which is 19 minus y times 19 minus y. So, nasanay ako ng vertical method dahil sa akin, feeling ko mas madali yung ganitong method ng pag-multiply ng ating variables. So, 19 times 19 is 361. 19 minus 1 is negative 19y. Negative y times 19 is negative 19y, and then negative y times negative y is positive y squared. And then i-add lang natin yan. So, mayroon tayong 361. Negative 19y minus negative 19y is negative 38y plus y squared. At mapapansin ninyo, meron na tayong quadratic equation na pwede nating i-simplify mula doon sa ating original equation na nakikita nyo dyan sa ating second formula. Ayan. So, balikan natin itong slides natin. So, si 19 minus y squared, i-expand natin by multiplying it by itself. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 361 minus 38 plus y squared. And then, c plus y squared equals 193 ay i-combine natin para magkaroon tayo ng quadratic equation. So, isi-simplify natin siya by combining like terms. So, first, iset natin yung ating equation to 0. So, si 193, subtract 193 on both sides. Notice na hindi ko ginagamit yung transpose dahil sa algebra, wala tayong transposition. Meron tayong balancing equation. So, when I teach algebra, I always do this method instead of saying i-transpose natin yung ating mga numbers. So, we're going to balance our equation by equating it to 0. So, we subtract both sides by 193. And now, our new or modified equation would be 361 minus 38y plus y squared minus 193 is equal to 0. And by combining like terms, pwede natin combine yung ating mga constants at pwede natin i-combine si ating quadratic term. So pag sinimplify natin yan, it will give us 2y squared minus 38y plus 168 equal to 0. And this time, pwede na natin siyang isolve by quadratic formula, completing the square, or factoring, kung saan kayo komportable. Pero ako, komportable ako dito sa factoring method. So, if factor natin si quadratic equation, so how are we going to factor 2y squared minus 38y plus 168? I can factor it by GCF dahil common si 2 dito sa mga ito. So, so y squared minus half of 38 is 19y, and half of 168 is equal to 84. So ito ngayon yung ating simpler version ng ating quadratic equation, and by doing so, mas madali ko nang mahahanap yung factors ng ating last term that when we add them up will equal to the middle term. So y and y plus minus. So since this is positive and this is negative, two negatives ang ating factors. At ano ang factors ng 84 na kapag in-add natin will equal to negative 19? Alam natin ang ating multiplication table, kaya it's 7 and 12. So ang ating solution ngayon is at y equals 7 or y equal to 12. So yan yung dalawang possible values ng y natin na pwede nating gamitin mula dito sa ating quadratic equation. So ngayon na meron na tayong y is equal to 7 and y is equal to 12, pwede na natin ngayong masagot yung ating word problem. Find the two numbers na kapag in-add natin will equal to 19 at yung sum naman ng squares nila would equal to 193. So kahit baliktarin nyo yung both values na yan, magiging parehas pa rin yung sagot ninyo. So kung i-try natin si 7, 7 plus 12 is equal to 19 mula dun sa ating equation na x plus y is equal to 19. So by checking it, we know that it is correct. And if we use this value dito naman sa ating x squared plus y squared dito. So kung ang ating value ng x halimbawa ay 7 at ito naman ay 12. So 7 squared is 49. 12 squared is 144. Kaya pag inad natin siya, it is equal to 193. So, ganyan natin sinusolve yung ating mga quadratic functions mula doon sa ating mga word problems. So, lagi natin tandaan, ang pinaka-challenge dito is yung first step, writing the equation. And once tama yung ating mga equation, using the method na natutunan natin sa pag-solve ng mga quadratic functions, i-apply na lang natin siya para makuha natin yung hinahanap nating value doon sa ating mga word problems. Kaya, tingnan natin kung sino ang kakasa dito sa ating problem na ito. So, two squares have sides P centimeters and P plus 5 centimeters. The sum of their squares is 625 square centimeters. Now, ang hahanapin natin ngayon ay yung sides ng ating square. So, comment down below yung magiging sagot ninyo dito sa ating word problem at tingnan natin kung sino-sino sa inyo ang makakakuha ng tamang sagot using the technique na shinare ko sa inyo sa pag-solve ng mga word problems involving quadratic functions. So, sa mga students natin, practice is key. And again, sa pagsagot ng mga word problems, ang pinaka-challenge natin dito ay translating the word problems into algebraic equation or expressions. And once meron na tayong equation, pwede na natin gamitin yung mga algebraic skills na natutunan natin. So from quadratic functions, simplifying our equation into a single variable. And then pagkatapos nun, isolve na natin yung quadratic equation na mapuproduce or ma-generate natin mula sa ating word problem. At pagdating naman sa factoring, kung medyo nahihirapan kayo sa factoring at masyadong malaki yung inyong mga values, you can use decimals para i-verify kung tama yung inyong mga pares ng numbers para makuha yung solutions ng inyong mga sagot. So yan ang ating mga technique sa pagsagot ng mga word problem. This is Dr. E and see you again next time. Bye!